Hello everybody, welcome to another video of Starting Out Spiritual. So cheers, coffee cheers everybody. I wanted to talk to you today about the different senses that are available to you that you are probably using more than you realise. I think that when people think about woo-woo things and spiritual things and developing spiritual gifts and all the rest of it, however you want to word it, you've got to be a little bit careful that other people will word things differently. So make sure that you don't accidentally make some sort of story in your head about, I can't do that because that sounds hard, or I can't do that because that sounds difficult. I bet you are already doing things in the woo-woo space, in the psychic, spiritual, intuitive, whatever the fuck you want to call it, in that space that you don't even know is a gift, is a talent, is something that you are doing that perhaps others can't or others are doing differently, and the way you do it is unique and perfect. So let's have a look at the different senses. So these are referred to as Clair senses. So there's 8 that I like to look at the most. But there's a whole, some people think, oh, there's only 4 that matter, some people think there's 7, there's a whole lot of shit. Google it and have a look. There's a whole lot of different ways for you to get information about these things. So I've had to write them down because I never remember all 8 off the top of my head. And I never remember their name. Their names are confusing, but don't worry about what their names are. You don't need to know this shit to be doing it, but I think it's important for you to understand that there's more available to you than you probably realise. And I think that you'll go, oh God, I do that sometimes, and oh my God, I do that. Like that recognition of what you do, what you've already been doing is really significant. I would love you to enhance that if that's your jam. So clairvoyance, we've all heard about clairvoyance. So that's seeing, that's being able to see things. But there's a perception that people that see into the future and see what's coming up for people and see into the past actually get things on a fucking video screen in front of them, and often it's not the case. For me, when I see things, it's almost like this little flick of an image in the back of my head, which sounds weird because it is weird. You are going to hear me say that over and over again on these videos because all of this shit is weird. None of it makes any sense. You have to be okay with that. So these videos, so if you've had a session with me, you'll see that I often look around the room, or I look at the floor, or I look at, if you're on a screen with me or in person, I do the same thing. I have to look around and have my focus kind of loose, because it's not about what I'm seeing with my eyes. It's about what I'm seeing kind of in the back of my head. So people refer to third eye, but they don't mean that you actually see it here, or you see it from some fucking mystical, magical button in your head. It's just this reference to seeing with something that isn't your actual eyeballs. So that's how you see things. And like I said, it can be just a little flick, a little, or a representation of something. That's another way I love to get messages too when I'm seeing things. So if I'm doing a healing, for example, sometimes it'll be shown, the chakras will be shown to me as like an engine, because I've got quite a mechanical, logical brain that likes to look at things and go, oh, this one needs oiling and greasing, or this one, all the cogs are loose, or whatever. Like, and I couldn't fucking build a motor to save my life. So it gives me the cartoon version because I like cartoons. So it's all all these little things that are representations of things matter as well. So it's not necessarily you're going to be shown the actual facts or the truth of the matter. You will be potentially shown something that means something to you that perhaps could mean something to someone else. Often it's easier to get information for other people than it is for ourselves too. You need to be aware of that as well. So that's clairvoyance, that's seeing. Claircognience, this is one that a lot of people have that they doubt incredibly deeply. It's just knowing. It's clair knowing. Claircognience, clair knowing. It's just knowing. You don't know how you know, you just fucking know. And don't dismiss that. That shit matters. It genuinely matters. And it is a brilliant one to have. You've just got to be careful because it's the easiest one for you to dismiss, because it makes no fucking sense. It makes zero sense that 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 bloody superstar was going to appear in the paper about this issue. Like someone who have no fucking connection with whatsoever, or that so-and-so was going to call you that day, or that you needed to be at a particular place at a particular time. You didn't know why, but you showed up anyway, and oh my God, bumped into someone you haven't seen for 20 years. Whatever. Give you a whole range of things. But that knowing is just beautiful. And if you can to enhance that, if you can just acknowledge it, just go, oh my God, I knew that. And just go, thank you. In your head to whatever you believe in, thank you. You may not know why you knew it or what's of benefit for. It doesn't fucking matter. It just matters that you know, and now you know that you knew. Now you can be grateful for it, and it will expand as a result. So it's not a hard one. Clairaudience is hearing, so people that hear things. So sometimes it's your own voice, sometimes it's the voice of something else, sometimes it's picking up things in music. So or being aware of a sound that perhaps others aren't. So you will probably find that there's a whole lot of people, and I love that blokes will pick this shit up too, because often they think it's a logical thing, but or they just know what an engine should sound like. But often it's like, oh, I've just been drawn to that sound that nobody else on the fucking planet can hear, and now I'm going to investigate that, and I've mitigated something that could have been a disaster. And the hearing is almost like a special thing for them. So it's not always blokes, obviously. Anybody can do it. But, it's not necessarily the woo-woo world. It could still be things that are just that little nudge. I love to get that nudge when I'm baking, the hearing nudge. I don't know who it is that can bake well in my world. I can cook. I always say, one of my skills is baking muffins. But one of the reasons I'm good at it is because I get a nudge. Because I'll put in vanilla essence, for example, and I'll just hear a voice in my head somewhere go, a little bit more. Or sugar, a little bit less. Or, we'll put some walnuts in with the blueberries or whatever. Like, I'll just get a little nudge, a little voice in my head or whatever. I don't know where the voice comes from, and I don't give a shit. And sometimes it's different voices. But listening to it and acknowledge it, and again going, oh yeah, good idea, thanks. Just in your head, say it out loud. You look fucking crazy, let me tell you. But if you can give a little bit of gratitude in your head when you get these little nudges, these little messages, these little things that you hear, it's significant. You could be hearing songs that are significant from your past that perhaps connect you to a past loved one. That's a beautiful one as well. I love that. So you may actually hear the song, or you just might have that song ticking around your head. I've had before. And I'd never, ever heard the fucking song before. Well, I don't remember ever having heard the song. But there's a Beatles song about blackbirds, and I can't remember what it was. And I was hearing this song on loop, and just this particular sentence of a song. And I didn't know it was the Beatles, but I had to type into Google lyrics this particular sentence of the song, and it popped up that it was this Beatles song. And I read the lyrics, and the lyrics were just bang on what I needed to hear at that time. And it was a while ago. And I honestly cannot remember. The song's actually playing in my head now, just that little bit that I know. And it's not something that it wasn't a song that was attached to my past. It was just one that was very, very relevant to the lyrics being relevant to what I needed now, but I didn't know the lyrics. But I followed the breadcrumbs through what I'd heard and found what I needed. So that's a beautiful way for spirit to get messages through to us as well. This is all about your angels and guides, your spirit, being able to communicate with us. So they are going to try a whole lot of different ways to get through, and we just have to be aware. So knowing that these are all options lets you go, oh, that might have been a thing. Yeah, probably was a fucking thing. You need to listen. You need to pay attention. You need to acknowledge it and develop it if you can. We don't need to, but you have the option. Clair, empathy. Oh, hands up the empaths. These are the people that walk into a room and just feel the emotion, they think about someone and they feel where their emotions are at. I've had so many friends in the past that I've just messaged them and gone, what's going on? Or thinking of you, or you're in my head, and they go, oh my God, it was just the best timing. And, it really mattered that you contacted me at the point because I didn't feel so alone. And it was, they could be in another fucking state, in another country, it doesn't matter. But the fact that I would wait, and often the empathy, like if you're with someone, yep, you can pick up the empathy, absolutely. But you might find as well, and this is with all the senses, you might find either when you're dropping off to sleep or you're just waking up, that's when you are the clearest for picking up things, particularly for other people, but also for yourself. So I would have a lot of friends that would get a message at, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning, because that was when I would wake up and go, oh, fuck, they are immediately in my head, that person. So they're getting a message because they obviously need to hear from me. Not at that point that I felt in any way, shape or form psychic or have abilities, or I knew there was weird shit going on, but I didn't understand it. But I knew that if I felt something about someone, they needed to hear from me. Not because it was me, just because spirit or whatever was trying to get through to them through fucking someone, and I was the one coming out of sleep going, boom, we can get to that one. Let's give her a message. So that's a beautiful one. Can be overwhelming. The empaths are probably going, oh my God, I do not want to tune into anybody else. Let me tell you, you can manage that. The empathy it's gorgeous. It's such a beautiful thing to feel. But when you're feeling it too much and your energy is not great, you are going to be heavily impacted by other people's stuff. So you need to learn to manage it. It is possible. My favourite way, a whole lot of people talk about protection. If that works for you, fucking brilliant. It never worked for me. I find personally that if my internal light is good, it doesn't mean I'm feeling fucking perfect. That is entirely different. But if my internal light is good, if I'm looking after myself as well as I can in whatever time period I'm in, if I'm being conscious of the fact that I have support energetically, that's enormously beneficial for lighting you up. And if you've generally, for me, like happiness matters to me. I'm not always happy. Sometimes I'm so fucking pissed off and angry and resentful and bitchy and nasty. I'm human. I'm human as fuck. But I can also maintain my energy in a way that means that if I'm going out the door, I just stop and take a breath and go, right, going out into public, not to put on a fake brave face or anything, but just to light myself up so I can deal with other people's shit when I walk into it. Because I kind of like to feel people's stuff. I don't want to soak it up. I'm happy to feel your energy, feel it, and then thank you, that's enough. Because it's kind of helpful. It's kind of useful to feel what's going on for other people and for yourself and who to connect with and who not to and all the things. So you don't want to dismiss it. You don't want to shut it down. You just want to be able to manage it and maintain your energy and keep other people's energy at bay. Not rejecting it, just keeping it at bay. Clair's sentience. This one's a little bit hard to explain. So Clair's sentience for me is about feeling and touching. So feeling as in, tuning into someone and going, oh God, my knee's sore. It's not your knee, it's theirs. Or, that feeling of, someone touching your hair as you sleep and there's no one there. Or, that kind of physical touch kind of thing. But it's not often a physical touch like someone actually pressing. It's just almost like the shadow of a touch, which can feel really creepy. But again, if you just go, oh, thank you, whatever that is, it's going to be something positive and beautiful. You've just got to let it in and let yourself receive the kindness, the love, the nurturing that's coming with that. There's not going to be anyone coming through touching you inappropriately, I promise. You've got to trust. You've got to trust that this stuff is good, that have that beautiful positive outlook, and that connection to positivity and flow and abundance and joy and all the bright things, and that's the direction you'll fucking go in. You get all fucking panicky about entities and all the darkness and blah, guess what you're going to attract? So fuck it. I just don't even believe in that shit. Other people talk about it, and I can understand where they're coming from, but it doesn't float my boat at all. I'm not remotely interested in that shit. I don't want it. I'm not going there. I'm not having a bar of it. It's almost like this flat-out rejection of it. And again, with my light bright, fuck it. It's not near me. So don't be afraid of those things. Let yourself feel it. It's probably going to be some sort of connection that is significant to you and could mean something, or it could be, again, a link from you to someone else who, living or past, doesn't matter. It's a beautiful thing. I'll often, and with that, I will often be, if I'm doing readings for clients, and again, it doesn't matter whether they're online or in person, I'll find myself moving my body in different ways. So obviously I'm going to be the extreme version because I do this for a living, but these are little things for you to note. Doesn't matter what you want to do with your abilities. So I will often, if I'm doing a reading with someone and they've assisted someone or they've been there with someone's past, I will often find myself touching my own hand, something like this. And I don't even know that I'm doing it until I've been doing it for a while. And then I go, what the hell am I doing? And it's a prompt for me from the person from the other side going, they were there at the end. Whether they were holding their hand or not, it's that acknowledgement, that gratitude that they supported me at the end. And it's just a little physical, touchy-feely kind of signal for me that that's the information being conveyed from the other side, which is just gorgeous. And hats off to everybody that's had the privilege of watching and helping someone pass and being there for them. Okay, Clair tangency. So this is another one. So Clair, empathy, sentience, and tangency, all very similar in that they're feelings, but the tangency one is about things or places or being shown the significance of things or places. So all kind of, I guess, similarly comes under the same umbrella, but it's a really significant, it can be really significant, and it's so helpful. So for situations where, and again, I'm doing this for a living, so I'm probably doing this in different ways than you guys want to. Although if you want it, like this could be a stepping stone for you doing this work. Pardon me, thank you. It definitely is for someone, confirmation burp. So because the thing is, you don't know what you're going to do in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Maybe this is your jam, and we need more and more people doing this kind of work, this beautiful, bright, light work, because there's more and more people suffering anxiety and stress and not understanding their feelings and emotions. If you can tune into that for them and help them kind of untangle it, oh, love that. Favourite part of my fucking job is helping people feel better. So often having a connection in a way that lets you go, oh my God, what's the connection to that necklace? Like, who's that? And again, it's not like I look at someone's necklace and go, That's significant. That was your nana. She passed 18 months ago. She wants you to know about her blue socks. Sometimes it's like, oh man, I'm drawn to that necklace. What's going on with that? And I'll say, that's my nana. Boom. That's a massive stepping stone for me to just skip all the bullshit and go, oh, right, well, Nana's here then, because it makes me just change my perspective a bit and go, well, Nana's here. What do you got to say, Nan? Righto, and pass the message on. So, or I'll tune into the necklace, it's Nana's, and I'll go, oh, hang on, there's also a photo and a dresser. There might be a dresser as well that's connected to now. Oh my God, yes, I inherited a dresser. And all of a sudden, what these things can do is help the person go, oh, you get it. I can relax into what you know because you fucking know. And that's enough for them to open up further and be less like, oh, I'm not sure about this shit. I don't know this lady. I don't know how this works. And it's just a beautiful opening. There's often information with it too. So clairtagency, knowing about things and objects, sometimes some people are very good. I'm not so much, to be honest, but some people are very good. Like, where's my fucking keys? I just spend so much of my goddamn life finding actual keys in my house for my husband and children that there's no way I can do it for other people. So people sometimes will ask me, where's, I've lost this or where's that? And, sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. I don't feel like that's a massive skill for me, but it does come up. So you will have probably one skill that you feel is stronger than the other at the moment, and that is awesome. And you may be have gone with one of these so far. Oh my God, yes, that's the one. That's what I can do. Oh, I can't do any of the others. Don't worry about it. Either you don't need them or they will come with time. So, and you genuinely don't need all of them. It's just kind of nice to know that they're there. And you're probably using them in some way, shape or form and you haven't realised. So the last two, we've got clairsalience, that's smelling. So that's when you smell, the pipe that Granddad used to smoke, or the roses from Arnie Jones' garden, or the place that you were with this particular memory. So there is a whole lot of science behind your nose and your brain connection, and I have no idea what that is, but I've heard of it before, but none of that shit sticks in my head. But sometimes it's a connection to the past, or sometimes someone will walk in and I'll say, oh, they're not smoking. They don't smell of smoke. But I go, oh, who was the smoker in your life? Because I'm quite sensitive to cigarette smoke. I go, oh, yeah, that was my dad. He passed from emphysema. And right, okay, we're talking with Dad. So, it's not always from from a past loved one. Sometimes it's, oh my God, I can smell the beach. You need the beach. You need that for your healing. And healing, fucking wanky word, but it will light you up. It's the healing, the personal development, the opportunities you give yourself to light up, that's all important too. So sometimes there'll be a smell that I connect with. Something is, oh, river smells, oh, love it. Forest, you need the fucking forest. Or you need, I can smell a campfire. Have you been camping recently, or are you going camping? Whatever, all those things kind of matter. So again, just pay attention to, and again, it's a little snippet. It's not like, oh my God, that's all I can smell for the rest of the day is this fucking campfire this person I connected with. No, it's just a little, and it's not like I'm going, it's just, I just know it's there. It's just there and then it's gone. Oh, okay, what was that? So it's noticing these little tiny snippets of information that come through for you that are going to be the really significant thing. And the last one that I like is clairgustance, which is taste. So this is one that I learned ages ago. I went, what the fuck would you use that for? And then I did a reading for a beautiful, and you may have heard me tell this story before, but there was this gorgeous family who were, I suspect, Italian, but they could have been Greek. I'm terrible with nationalities, so sorry if I offend anyone, but they had lost someone very dear to them and way too young. And I'd spoken to it was an event, and so there was quite a whole family unit there. So I spoke to a few of the family members, and then they brought me the grandmother, the nonna, who spoke no English. So I was doing a reading, but I had one of the daughters sitting there interpreting, and I just got this overwhelming, magnificent sense of flavour in my mouth, and it stuck for ages. Like I said, usually it's just little snippets of things, but this one stuck. And it made me go, oh my God. And I had to explain I was going, I can taste this, and I am no fucking master chef. Let me tell you, I can't taste things and go, I know what's in that. But with this, it was very specific. So I was being, all this flavour, and then I was being shown the leaves. And again, little snippets of information, but it was the double whammy of the visual for me and the flavour. And I was explaining what it was. And again, because I do a lot of this, I'm not actually looking at the humans that I'm talking to. So then I finally finished giving all this information. I look, and Nonna is sobbing, and the daughter's got tears pouring down as well. And she said, "You've just described the fancy special family sauce thing that we would make as a family, and this person who had passed was always first one there to make it, always, you know, really keen to do the chopping and the tasting and the chalking it up, and can't wait for it to do it again." And so it wasn't just the event, it was the flavour for this person. And to be able to describe it the way I did, having not known them, not knowing anything about them, it was a really significant thing for them. So absolute proof that their loved one was on the other side and okay. So you could just watch the stress melt off Nonna, because she'd spent 2 or 3 years grieving hard for this person, and to feel like they were still connected was just lovely. So it's all about, all this information comes through for a purpose. It's either to make you feel better or to make someone else feel better. So share that shit. You don't have to be tapping people on the shoulder. In fact, I highly recommend that you don't tap people on the shoulder at the supermarket and going, "Oh, your Auntie Beryl's here and she wants you to know this, that and the other." That's bullshit. That upsets people. Do not do that. But if you've got information coming through that you can share in a gentle way, or you know, people that you know that are open to it need to hear it, or you need to hear it yourself, fucking be willing to hear it and be grateful. Be very, very grateful. There is always something beautiful there for you or for someone else. So please remember that. There is a whole lot of stuff to learn and understand and unwind, and to learn your way. I'm very, very passionate about people learning this stuff their way. So take what you will from what I've given you, run it through your own filter, interpret it in the way that works for you, your heart, your soul, your knowing, whatever, because the little bits of information you get from other people, there will be people that have very different opinions as to how all this works. So, and that's okay for them, but you need to work out how it works for you, because your magic is important. Your interpretation is absolutely fucking magnificent, and someone somewhere needs it. Enjoy the shit out of your day. I am here for you if you need anything. I'm available for mentoring if you want to take this further. Have a beautiful day. Love yourself enormously and keep your light bright.